Hi everyone, Chillax here and welcome back to another Anchor Panic video. Today we will be talking about Rose, who is a very meta-defining physical breaker who is effective in both PvP as well as PvE. And I want to talk about her now because at the end of this version 1.9, during the final week, we will get a rerun banner of Rose, and this will give you an opportunity to secure at least one copy of her, as well as her signature sigil if you missed it the first time around. And let's go over first of all whether to pull or pass on her. I would say that if you're a free-to-play player, you should probably pass on her because you can always fail the pity to her in the future. And typically if you want Rose to excel in PvP content, for instance, you want her to be equipped with a signature sigil. And this is not really easy for a free-to-play player to do, especially with all these great operators for this version 1.9. So for this reason, free-to-play players should probably skip her and her signature sigil. And then if you are a low spender, I would say that it does make sense to secure one copy of her and her signature sigil if you don't have her already, because she can score decently well in Entropy Cataclysm, which is a very important PvE game mode for securing those valuable Stellaron Resonance bottles. But from a PvP perspective, I don't think you should really invest heavily in her unless you are capable of bringing her to Ascension 6 with max copies of her signature sigil. And the reason is because the more copies of her signature sigil that she has, or the higher the ascension that she is on the Ascension page, then that will determine how much pre-filled ammo that she starts with, as well as how much ammo that she can generate with each action. And the more ammo she has, the more attacks that she can do. And this allows her to significantly weaken the enemy team. Alright, so let's go ahead and go over her skills. So her talent 1, when allied operators excluding herself release skills, they load 1 ammo for Rose. Ammo plus 1 if they're the same element operator. So it kind of incentivizes you to run her in a mono physical team, which isn't really that viable right now. However, in the near future, we will be getting a limited physical defender, Yunjuan, who is one of the best defenders in the game besides Luna, and she will be one of the physical operators that you will typically run alongside Rose in order to accelerate her ammo generation. And she can stack up to 12 ammo buffs. And when ammo reaches full stacks, so the full 12 stacks, Rose enters a full firepower mode, which clears debuffs and immediately performs a grenade shot, dealing physical damage to all enemies equal to 150% of her attack. And so it'll kind of look like it'll do a zoom up close, a zoom in of her, and she'll like fire and then everything will explode. During this state, allies cannot load ammo for Rose, and after allies' turn, excluding Rose herself, she will consume 4 ammo to perform a covering shot, dealing physical damage to 2 horizontal rows of enemies equal to 100% of her attack, and damage to the main target equal to 2.5% of her bounty stacks, which we will talk about later. The state ends when her ammo reaches 0. Yeah, so she will pretty much do 3 covering shots before she goes back to 0 ammo stacks, and you're able to generate ammo again. Now her talent 2, when triggering grenade shot or covering shot, applies 1 stack of bounty to the target. So this is a debuff that looks like a rifle symbol. Each stack reduces the target's defense by 1.8% and physical resistance by 2.5% for 2 turns, up to 8 stacks. So this is quite powerful because the reduction of defense will benefit anyone, which makes Rose splashable in a lot of non-physical teams, like let's say a mostly mono lightning team or a mostly mono quantum team, or heck, even a mostly mono ice team. excuse me, you can splash Rose in pretty much any team and deliver a lot of value. But if you have a dedicated physical team, obviously those other operators will appreciate the physical res down. Okay, and then her basic attack and her skill do single target damage, but because of her unique targeting, which is focus opposite, she is able to lock onto pretty much any enemy on the battlefield. You just need to reposition Rose so she locks onto that particular target, and so that makes her extremely deadly against pretty much anyone on PvP. And then for her energy burst, Instant Blossom, she grants all allies bounty tracking, increasing their attack by 15.5% plus 440 for 2 turns. So this is yet another way for her to increase the damage output of your allies. The effect increases by 40% for other physical operators. Additionally, when allies with bounty tracking release energy burst, they will apply 2 stacks of bounty to enemies for 2 turns, max 8 stacks. And this bounty, once again, as specified in her talent 2, reduces the enemy's defense as well as their physical resistance. Okay, so I know that was a mouthful there, but that's not all. For Ascension 3, for targets with bounty, and bounty is very easy to generate, by the way, especially if you have a lot of investment in her Ascensions or her signature Sigil. So targets with bounty, Rose enhances defense penetration by 20 times the bounty stacks. So yes, she can have up to 20 times 8, 160 defense penetration at Ascension 3. And upon defeating the target, gains 4 stacks of ammo. So it's kind of like a Bloodlust, where every time she picks up a KO, it kind of fuels her overall damage output to attack even harder. Or even more frequently, I should say. And then at Ascension 6, she gets 50 times the bounty stacks. So if you have 8 bounty stacks, that's 400 defense penetration, which is kind of insane. Oh no, yeah. 50 times 8, right? 400? Yeah, that's pretty insane. And upon defeating the target, gains 8 stacks of ammo, which is insane. That gets you basically 2/3 of the way there to max 12 ammo stacks. Now, if you do decide to Stellaron her, she's a very worthwhile operator to invest your valuable Resonance Stellaron bottles in. For me personally, I went all the way to activate both talents 1 and 2, but that's like whale territory. I would say that if you're a free-to-play or low spender, I think it makes a lot of sense that if you prioritize speed, that you snag these nodes and work your way to the left, which applies a decent amount of attack buffs as well as the speed, and you get defense penetration, which is the second most powerful offensive stat in the game. Or if you were to go to the right, this will allow her a little bit of survivability. These stats are not as useful, but you do get physical damage as well as crit rate. And crit rate is the best offensive stat in the game. I still think the left side is more bang for your buck, but it's up to you. I would say that if you're like a low spender or like a whale, but not like a Leviathan and can only pick one path, then you probably want to pick the path on the right side to secure talent 2, which will provide a more universal benefit for your party. Okay, and then for her signature Sigil, it provides physical damage as well as crit rate, which are 2 of her premium offensive stats. And then when equipped by Rose, she gains, I don't remember what the base copy, I think at base copy you get 4 ammo stacks at the first round, and each time exiting full attack mode, she gains 8 ammo stacks automatically. Or actually, I think at base copy, I think it's 4. I don't quite remember, but as you can see here, if you have max stacks, starting off with 11 ammo stacks, that's pretty much 1 away from the full 12 to start doing follow-up attacks and doing cover shots. And then once you go back out of the attack mode where you do your 3 cover shots, then you automatically generate 8 ammo, so you're already 2/3 of the way there. So that's why her signature sigil is one of the best sigils to max duplicate if you can afford it. Yeah. Okay, so now let's go over how to build her. Let me just check the time. Okay, I think we're doing all right. So her best set, she has a couple good sets. Actually, this might not be the best given that there's not too many good physical operators right now. But if she was, say, like in a mono physical team, this would be the best from a PvE perspective, where you have, 4-piece physical and then 2-piece tenacity break. Or you could go 2-piece physical, 4-piece tenacity break. Actually, that might be the better set, but if you are running her on herself, by herself, or if you are running her in PvE. From a PvP perspective, I would say, going 4-piece physical, 2-piece attack boost might be a little bit better. And that's the thing, because Rose is valuable in both PvP as well as PvE. There's going to be like potentially 3 or 4 different sets that you would need to rotate between if you wanted to absolutely max out her overall damage potential and contribution to all those modes. But it's quite universal that you will want speed, crit rate, and crit damage. That's pretty much non-negotiable. And for the remodel effects, you want to roll for as much crit rate and crit damage as you possibly can. As you can see here, I can still optimize this a little bit further. I think 6 out of 6 speed is very helpful, especially if you want to get the bounty tracking going early on via her energy burst. So 6 out of 6 speed, max crit rate, max crit damage, and the rest into base attack and attack if you can. Okay, and then for her signature sigil, I would say that if I could snap my fingers, and make this perfect, it would be speed, crit rate, and defense penetration. Those would be the optimal offensive buffs along with the valuable speed. However, crit damage and physical damage are by no means bad. These are also very good stat lines to keep if you manage to get them early on. Okay, so now that we've gone over that, let's go ahead and do the PvP showcase. So the team that I want to showcase today is a very spicy one, and it's going to be this team right here. And I want to give a huge shout out to Gear, who is a guildmate of mine who came up with this strategy. So essentially, given that a lot of the top performing arena PvP players have max speed turn, so the way to outspeed them is to run Mustang, and she happens to be a physical defender who can outspeed even an opposing turn, which is kind of wild. So just kind of going over how this team works, you basically run the best speed tuner in the game along with the fastest unit in the game. But one caveat to Mustang is that I am running her in order to help my turn outspeed a speed tied turn, and to achieve that, what I would do is my Mustang will be equipped with a single copy of Windrift. So yes, if you manage to get dupes of Windrift and you're a free-to-play player or low spender, I think it's a good idea just to keep them separate, because Windrift is one of the most universal signature sigils in the game, thanks to the base of speed bonus 6.6%, and just as importantly, being able to grant other allies extra speed whenever she takes an action. So Mustang will outspeed the enemy's turn and grant all allies an additional speed bonus via the Windrift, and this will allow my turn to finally overcome the speed tie of the opposing turn on defense. Yeah, so you have Mustang moves first, turn moves second, and then you essentially have control over the speed war, and then your Luna, your Rose, and your Frostjade will go. So the main hyper carry will be Rose, but this is a very excellent turtle comp that can also outspeed the opponent, and you do have turn to provide offensive buffs for your party. So I think this is a nice team. So let's go ahead and spar with someone on my friends list because there was a bracket reset on Arena. Okay, so let's go ahead and attack Brandon. Shout out to you, my man. I don't know what he's running. I hear it's a very tough team, so let's check it out. Okay, and I'll somewhat slow this down. Okay, it's at 2 times. Okay, we generate the... okay, so both of our Lunas are casting the domain. Okay, and I do a covering shot. He does a covering shot. Okay, and now I go first. And then... oh, I forgot to go over my builds. I'll go over that after. Okay, so now we're outspeeding the opponent. We have control of the speed war. Okay, and then my Frost Jade's gonna go. Oh no, my, what's her name? Luna's gonna go. And we have 5 Moonblade stacks already, so this will really improve our survivability. But he cast the Moonlight Aegis, so our damage is going to be neutralized. And I hear that Rose's value is lower now because apparently Luna is a counter to Rose. But let's see if that's really true. Okay, so now he's moving. And so actually, if you have Abyss Elysia, what my opponent Brandon is running is probably the better team. Okay, and then he's going to do the covering shot. He also has a max ascended, max sigiled operator, or Rose. Okay, so I'm a little worried. Oh, but he did an energy burst. Oh, and we activate the Moonlight Aegis, so this is good. So if he energy bursts, we'll be fine, but he didn't. Okay, so let's see if we can shatter his Moonlight Aegis. This might be a long battle, we'll see. Okay, so now it's going to be round 2. We have control of the speed war. Covering shot. We're trying to break the Moonlight Aegis, which is very tough to do. Yeah, actually he activated it, so that's kind of a problem. Yeah, this battle might take forever, guys. But I guess now's a good time to go over their builds. So, my... what's her face? My Mercedes is running Windrift, obviously. 4-piece Raging Wave, 4-piece Block Chance, 2-piece Raging Wave, Speed, Base HP, and HP, I think. And then my Luna is running her signature Sigil, 4-piece HP, 2-piece Defense, Speed, HP boost, or HP percent and HP. And then my Rose, you know what she's running. And then my, okay, let's see if we can survive. Yeah, oh well, Moonlight Aegis protected us. Yeah, I don't think we'll win though, because he technically has 2 DPSs and I only have 1. So I don't see how we're gonna win, but we'll just watch it. And then, let's see, my Frost Jade, she's currently on 4-piece Raging Wave, 2-piece HP, Speed, HP percent, and Attack. And then we have Turn, who has her 4-piece Raging Wave, 2-piece Attack Boost, Speed, Attack, Base Attack percent, and Attack. Okay, so have we made any progress? I noticed that my Frost Jade went down, but we haven't taken out anyone, so I think this is pretty much a loss. Yeah, because I think he'll probably KO my Frost Jade and then it's over. So, yeah, typically Rose you run with another operator, like Abyss Elysia. I would probably run his team, honestly. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe we'll win. I think we're whittling him down somewhat. Oh my god, I don't think so. No, we get close to KOing, but it's just not enough. Yeah, okay, our Frost Jade went down, so we pretty much lost. Okay, so sorry about that. This tech, as cute as it is, it's not gonna work. against the power of Abyss Elysia, so definitely secure her when she reruns. But anyways, I hope you found this video informative. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please consider dropping a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.